Hey, what's up guys? It is MetaGamesGX here, and we are doing another commentary, this time over some Edison format gameplay of Gladiator Beasts versus Frog Monarch, I'd say. It's not really Hero Frog, it's Frog Monarch. As you'll see, he main decks the soul exchanges and really sets up these nasty frog locks that continuously and just unable to kill them because of battle fader. Also, excuse the camera being moved. I had to get into a good position. So he starts off with a pretty standard play with the swap frog, sending the treeborn, and he's kind of doing his standard frog plays. Now, frogs actually have a pretty historically bad matchup against Glad Beasts, but modern frogs I feel like kind of fix that problem. Now we start off with a test tiger with the Gladiator Beast player into a Ready Ari to banish the treeborn frog, which you might as well get one out of the way, and then he is out into a Secutor, which will allow him to probably setting up with a Wabaku if he's gonna announce Secutor like that to guarantee that. However, we're going to see the Soul Exchange come down, which is one of the best cards in pure Monarchs. However, we get a sick Trap Dust Shoot, and the Trap Dust Shoot now is one of the Monarchs. Now, he still has a lot of options, unfortunately. And that was definitely the correct play, holding the Trap Dust Shoot, and that's why Trap Dust Shoot holding it sometimes is the best played. And so we see a Secutor come down, and we see a Raigeki break get changed so he doesn't get the, Glad Beast is one of the best snowballing comps or decks in Edison. And then we see the Murmello come down to pop the Thestalos, and then we see Treeborn Frog get revived, and then the hero player is right now thinking he does a normal summon on Swap Frog. This is definitely a very fun matchup, and I appreciate all the views on the last Gladiator Base gameplay. I know you guys want to see a deck profile. We will get that one day. Compulse on the Swap Frog, which is kind of maybe a questionable play. I'm not gonna lie. Probably might have waited for a Monarch on that. Now we're gonna see a Samnite get searched and come out, and we are going to see Samnite do its thing by searching a War Chariot, which is pretty nutty. Then we're going to see a Ready Ari get spec'd at the end, and now that gets rid of two Treeborn Frogs, which is traditionally what Glads run. So we're going to see a pass into Battle Fader into the Horse Gladiator Beast. So right now the Glad Beast player is in an incredible position, just looping War Chariots at this point and having two Glads on deck. It's going to be hard pressed for the Monarch player to come back having both Treeborn Frogs in Banish, but I've seen, and then he scoops right there. So we're going to go on to game two. This is certainly a good match. I think Gladiator Beast is one of the coolest decks in Edison. It's historically one of the best decks in YuGiOh. It had the longest reign. That's why Bestiary was at 1 for the longest time. If you read that card, you're like, why was that card at 1 for almost a decade? It's because Glad Beast just wrecked every format that they were in. There was Teledad, there was Light Sword, and then there was Edison, and Gladiator Beast ran them all historically. Now we see Edison nowadays. Glad Beast it hasn't innovated as much as the newer decks like Diva Hero, Vayu Turbo, even just Hero beat these modern Edison inventions for the most part, completely outclass historical Glad Beast, which is what most Glad Beast player play nowadays, which is unfortunate. It's just Bestiary at 1 really doesn't. It doesn't give the deck a lot of options. Now, if Bestiary was at 2, I don't know if that would really make the format better. Shout out to my friend Kyle, who plays Gladiator Beast, who's in the game right now. It's probably a good thing then, this format, that Bestiary is at 2, because the deck feels really oppressive once it starts snowballing. It's still one of the best decks at just taking and making a mile out of an inch. So we're going to see the hero player start off with a set and pass, which is not a terrible opening, but then we're going to see the Glad Beast player also do a set, which is not the opening you want against Monarchs. You can't give them time. But it really just depends. It's a Snowman Eater, though. It's probably not what you want to tribute. However, that's going to be a Vanity's Fiend, which is one of the best cards against that deck. However, we see a Book of Moon come down, which is going to be really useful in order to get over. However, we see a Brigaki break. Now, if frogs don't run back row, so like if they have a back row, it's going to be always tangible, which is unfortunate. But like he probably had to just do it no matter what. We do have a Smashing Ground, though, I see in the Gladiator. Yeah, we see a Smashing Ground come down. Now that card destroys one of the cards that have the highest attack on the field. Really cool. We're going to see a Heavy Storm come down. However, that is met by a Starlight Road. The Glad Beast player is playing out his mind, but we get a return with a Soul Exchange into a Vanity's Fiend, which is just nuts. That was a nuts turn. Just the Starlight Road into the Soul Exchange. Now he can't attack, however, that doesn't really matter. We still have a set 4 by the Glad Beast player. That is a lot of back row with a Heavy Storm out of the game. Frogs don't really run Giant Tornado or anything like that traditionally, so it's definitely a interesting board state. Now we see a Wabaku, so now I don't know. It just depends on that board state really, because I might have saved that for a Glad Beast, but like you really can't do much under Vanity's Fiend. So we see Substitute come out, but he can't. I think this might be a misplay. He can't really, and then. Yeah, we just see the Glad Beast player scoop, which is interesting. I would have liked to see what the other back row was. I just don't think he had an out, I guess, anymore. He might have tried to see, what happened. But, like, we're going to go game 3. This is a very good game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right here. I love Edison format. Now, it's definitely a frustrating format, though. For me recently, I do like Modern more. But I do love Edison. I like other formats too, though. I like Hat. I'm really getting into Hat recently. I just made a goat deck, and I want to play Tengu, and then Edison. I do locals for every 2 weeks. I'm trying to get the scene popping off more. No Millennium Games is about to start up stuff and maybe hire the game, so that'll be interesting. Now, I do want to see. Well, we're gonna see the Glad Beast player set 3 and pass, so that's not the best opening, but we see a blind MST, which is definitely an interesting thing to do against Glad Beast, but they really don't play continuous, so it's like kind of just have to blind it. And then we see a Sekitur with a Rescue Cat come down, and then we see a Test Tiger and Sam Knight. This is gonna be an insane board state for the Glad Beast player. However, it's like the Monarchs. This isn't. Oh my God, we see a Battle Fader come down, which is gonna deny Glad Beast the opportunity to use their effect. Battle Fader, one of the best cards against Glad Beast, and we see another Starlight Road. Starlight Road is one of the best cards, honestly, in this deck. I'd say like can be dead, but I think it's worth it with all the absolute zeros on the just going around. Heavy Storm it being in every deck, and then we see Ryza, so it's always alive. And Ryza is one of the best cards in Monarchs because it lets you just turn skip on top of maybe even running a Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, which is what I'm thinking about running for maybe a Monarch build, but we'll see. The Secretary is still on board, however, and the Ryza goes to defense position. We see Marmello come out, which is going to let the Glad Beast player establish one hell of a board, and we say 3-person contact off into a Heraclinos, which is Glad Beast's biggest boss monster in this era, which lets basically them Omni negate, which is pretty crazy. One of the best old fusion cards. It's really hard to get out, though. Same with the Gyzaris, just because the fact that Bestiary is really a thing. And then we see a Gores come down when the Heraclinos tries to attack directly. And we see Swap Frog come down, not this time not under a Vanity's Fiend. And we'll see probably full frog combo if I had to guess. Now, this is normally a completely game-winning position. However, normal Frog Monarch says one of those broken non-game cards, as Fraser Smith, Showtime Nerd, says, like those cards in Edison that make the decks that have the most non-game cards. That is a non-game card. Soul Exchange. It really just simplify. It will destroy just certain decks when they just end on these powerful boss monsters, and you just plus infinite. It doesn't matter that you have Battle Phase. I don't like Volcanic the continuous card because it skips your Battle Phase, but it's okay with Soul Exchange. You just gain enough, and we see a Dupe block come down, which is going to be met by a giant Trunade to recycle that, called the Haunted presumably, which is interesting. And then we see another Soul Exchange, which is certainly interesting. It's maybe perhaps a little bit too shy, given the fact that he does have a call to Haunted. Now we do see the big Gladiator base come down, which is interesting, but we see the third Soul Exchange, which is that's just crazy under a dupe lock with a Vanity's Fiend. Like, I don't know how you beat that, to be honest, outside of, like, that's a really good board state. It's really tough even with 3 back row. Like, if he had the Mirror Force, that'd be the one thing, but we're just sniping cards with Raigeki Break, and it's Wabaku gets met, and we're gonna see if we get the Heart of the Cards top deck and we get one set. We get another Wabaku, and we get a Smashing Ground, but that's not gonna really be able to do too much. That's gonna destroy the dupe block at least, but we're gonna see a Rise that come down, which is going to be too much. That's just for GG, and the hero player wins. GG's everybody. Thanks for watching.